safely guarding my drink and adding a little bit of moose fur into my drink. A little sprinkle, if you may call it that. He's giving his best, trying to bodyguard, so we appreciate it. And in unison, we all say, thank you, Moose. But welcome to another episode. If you guys are new here, my name is Sarah, and on this podcast we talk about navigating adulthood, career, relationships, and beyond. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope this episode brings you some amount of comfort, some amount of hope, or optimism. I was sitting down and reflecting on what the purpose and the goal of this podcast really is, and I really do think I want this podcast to just be a safe space, as I've always said, and so I hope that is what this is for you guys and for me as well. And let's dive into today's episode. Before we get into the episode, we have our drink of the day. Today we got a nice green tea, and whenever I drink tea at night, because apparently it is I always run the risk of not being able to sleep because I'm a huge insomniac, and when I was a kid, I used to always just stay up until like 3 a.m. in the bed trying to sleep, but not falling asleep because my brain was always running wild with random things. I'm not thinking about boys, but that is not my reality now. But whenever I drink caffeinated stuff at night, I do run the risk of staying up. So let's cheers to that. And I hope you guys are also drinking something nice, something cozy, and having a great week. Cheers. The theme of this week's episode is realizations, and I wanted to specifically talk about 10 realizations I made from starting a podcast, or 10 things I learned from starting a podcast. It might be more than 10, it might be less than 10, but roughly in the ballpark of 10 things, because I think through starting a podcast, I've learned a lot about myself, about the process of doing something new for the first time,
by the end of this.
all the little in-betweens of that. And I thought it would be a really nice, bittersweet semi-end to the season. I know next week we're going to do another episode. I'm not actually
I'm not ready for this.
OMG, so bad. My 5-year-old was so upset because the cartoon she watched did not look the same as the film. Everything wrong with modern cinema. Completely destroyed childhood memories. Disney ruined Snow White in my childhood. It almost made me cry.
So much happened.
This is not the Snow White from my childhood. Trash. Absolutely atrocious. As a grizzled movie critic with a nose for tools. Wait, did I hear it? Why are they doing this? I've seen Steven Seagal movies better than this. Well, I guess we're doing this. For years now, we've been learning so much about this movie against our will. For years, we've seen Peter Dinklage saying how Disney better not cast any little people. For years, we've heard how Rachel Zegler loves Snow White, but also thinks it's really stupid. Which, like, what did you say about the movie you're going to be? You know what I mean? But even beyond that, all this hullabaloo of everyone being so upset about this movie is literally the funniest thing, okay? Because, like, as if any of you have ever had a single thought about freaking Snow White. I mean, it is kind of funny how they took literally the only thing about the character and got rid of it. Alright, so who is Snow White? She has, like, really pale white skin? Okay, well, we definitely can't have that. But even more hilarious is everyone clamoring on about how Disney is besmirching the sanctity of Snow White. as if any of you ever cared until now. Like, guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but Snow White is not real. But okay, so the movie came out to rave reviews, and now that I can finally make a video about it, I wanted to take a step back away from all the easy don'ts and ask the question, on its own, is Snow White good, actually? I mean, the movie did so bad that Disney has halted all current live-action remakes, even the Hercules one, inspired by TikTok. Thank goodness for that. But okay, let's talk about Snow White. Oh no, it's the people who comment on my videos. I saw your Canto video, Alex. You think you could just make fun of my favorite billion-dollar company's commercial products and get away with it? I mean, yeah? You thought wrong. No, wait, hold on a second. See, it's just a live-action Snow White this time. I see. Well, the council has granted you permission. This time. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. You all know what Skillshare is. They have an absurd number of classes and teachers covering pretty much every subject you could ever think of. From artsy skills to business skills, analog, digital, beginner level, professional level, and anything in between everything I just said. Skillshare is the perfect partner to have when you want to start learning how to do something, get better at it, and then turn it into a side hustle or a full-blown career. Skillshare is there for you every step of the way. How to make a plan, maintain momentum, and follow through with whatever goals you have. Like I said, it can be creative goals, business goals, school goals, or even just personal wellness, everyday life stuff. One of the most important skills you've ever learned is how to learn. Skillshare can even help you literally do that. With the class, how to learn anything based on science. Might be the most important skill you ever pick up in life. And like, of course you can use Skillshare to level up your career and get into a new industry and all that, but also you can just learn stuff in your free time for fun, you know? Not everything has to be all rise and grind all the time. And like, sure, you can use YouTube stuff to learn things too, but like, you never know if the info's up to date, or like, is the playlist complete? You finish part 4, then it goes to part 7, and like, what are you supposed to do? If you sign up for Skillshare today using my link, the first 500 people who do so will get a 1-month full free trial of Skillshare. You literally have nothing to lose, so use my link and sign up today. Okay, back to the show.
Once upon a time, there was a peaceful kingdom ruled by a virtuous queen and king. One winter's night, a blizzard swept through their land. But leaving them a most precious gift, a princess was born.
Snow brought them a baby? Yeah, you know, my sister tried one of that same exact line back in high school. So in this remake, Fairest of them all refers to Snow White being really nice, and not about how she has the same sickly, hermetic complexion of someone who never goes outside except for Blue Reeds like me. So the movie starts off with a song about how there's like gems in the ground, and then Snow White's like, yeah, it's cool, my dude, think maybe back up a little bit, please. But one day, the Queen falls ill and passes away, leaving just the King and Snow White. But then, everything changes. Again.
Wait, I need to see what shirt.
An enchanting woman from a far-off land appeared at the palace.
An enchanting woman from a foreign land? Heck yeah, sign me up. Oh, it's just Galvados. Never mind.
So great was her beauty that it seemed to grant her powers beyond the ordinary. She married the king. But she was not what she appeared. She was evil.
Wow, the typecasting in this one was crazy. So what ends up happening is the king marries this foreign woman. She convinces him to go to war with the southern king, but never comes back, which leaves her as the new queen. Snow White is just like, shut away from him.
As the years passed, the people nearly forgot there ever was a princess named Snow White.
You know, it's kind of funny how like the reception of this movie was so bad, and this haircut is so goofy looking, that everyone kind of forgot that Rachel Zegler is like one of the hottest human beings to ever exist. This movie did her so good. Now, one day, Snow White's doing whatever she does, and that's when she just so happens to run into a boy in the castle. Cooties gross.
I'm sorry. Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah, I'm looking for some peanut butter to suck through a straw so I can work out my jaw, you know what I'm saying? You got no chain link fences like a chew on. Dude, look at me, I don't need facial hair to hide my weak chin. So this thief guy and Snow White start talking for a bit, as people do sometimes, or so I'm told.
I'm gonna have to ask you to put those back.
I would. It seems the queen has one already. You really think people upstairs would share with people like us?
The princess would. All she does is think about how to help people.
Oh, well, she should let her know. At some point, it might be useful for her to stop thinking. Maybe start doing.
But I shared a post on Facebook. What else could I possibly do? So the thief guy escapes, and Snow White goes to talk to the queen about how the people are starving, and she should maybe kind of like share some food or something. And she's like, ew.
One is weak, youth is fragile. The other, hard, unyielding, everlasting, flawless. Look at yourself. Is this what you want? Go on. Speak to your people.
You know, it really is inspiring how Gal Gadot got a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame for having the acting chops of a high school sophomore. I mean, follow your dreams, kids. So, Snow White is reminded of how powerful she is, and so she sings one of the new songs in the movie, Waiting on a Wish. And like, I gotta say, the lyrics are really cool, but as far as Disney power ballads go, like, this is actually pretty awesome. I saw a lot of people say the songs are trash, but like, I don't know about that. Some of them sound pretty good. Anyway, so as for the Snow White story, the queen goes into her magic mirror room and asks the mirror who's the fairest one of all.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the best of them all?
Fame is not your majesty, but wait. A lovely maiden I now behold.
Does this dude look like 2 packs a day or something? This dude sounds like he hangs out at a gas station for fun. But as you can imagine, the queen is none too thrilled about this, and she sends a huntsman, whatever that is, to go take Snow White apple picking so we can, hold on, what am I allowed to say now? Control, Alt, delete her.
Snow White far into the forest. Find a secluded lane where she can pick apples. And there, kill her.
Majesty, she's just a girl.
I'm your queen.
And so he tries to do that, but obviously doesn't go through with it, or else this will be a really short movie. What is this mess? What is Snow White go? What happened? Anyway, so he lets her go when she runs into the dark magic forest full of evil arthritis trees and gets rescued by some cute little animals like this little turtle. Look at this little man. Look how happy he is. What's that like? And so all these little tennis balls on strings take her to a cute little cottage where she breaks in and falls asleep. This, of course, is where the movie introduces us to the dwarves.
What did you just say?
I'm allergic to this soy sauce.
No, my goodness, what happened?
Shut it, drums.
Let's all take a moment and just look at this. Okay, this is all Peter Dinklage's fault, by the way, okay? We could have had regular-looking people, you know, have forbidden people with dwarfism get paid union work, am I right? Is this any better? This is just a convention of every sleep paralysis demon I've ever had. These dudes look like the nightmare puppets from Lazy Town. It's just so weird how, like, the animals are very cartoony and very cute, right? Like, the deer is literally just Bambi, but the dwarves are more on the realistic side, so they just look horrendous. Like, Dopey is just some dude. Anyway, so they all come home from working in the mines, and there's a coral in their bed? Snow White. I mean, I had the same reaction like 15 seconds ago. But once they calm down, everyone's like, everyone's almost in.
Well, where did you come from? Are you hungry? Can we be friends?
Do you have Snapchat? What's your Discord? What's your favorite Sonic game?
This forest was a magical place.
Okay, see, now you're speaking my language. But like, it's not even just the fact that the faces are terrifying, but also the animation in general is so janky. Like, how did this get approved? This looks so bad. Anyway, so while this is all going on, the Queen thinks Snow White is, in the recycle bin. So once again, she goes to the mirror and she's like, hey, so like, do you still think I'm hot?
Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the best one of all?
Far beyond the castle wall, somewhere in the woods dwells Snow White.
Dude, what are you doing? Stop snitching! Make something up! And so the Queen's like, and sings a song about being evil and hot or whatever. Remember back when Gal Gadot and all the other celebrities like cured COVID by singing Imagine by John Lennon? and then all of our problems were solved. Anyway, so Snow White keeps hanging out with all the dwarves and everyone's getting to know each other.
Getting along could be so much fun. I forgot we had an oven in here.
When I was a little girl, every day was like this.
Yeah, okay, I was a 90s kid too, Snow White. Like, come on, ain't special. Also, I love how Snow White just can't stop trauma dumping on everyone she meets. Everyone's all singing and dancing, making merry, having a good time, and she's like,
When I was a little girl, every day was like this.
Every day?
Every day. When my father was king.
yeah, okay, everyone's having a good time right now, Snow White, alright? Let's try reading the room, huh? Anyway, so for some reason, Snow White decides to go look for Dad, because like the bandit thief guy from earlier said that he steals the name of the king or something. And so she sets out to find him and runs right into him like 20 seconds. Okay, I'm sorry, but like this dude lives in a forest, right? How is he so baby bottom smooth face like this? This guy should look like Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Actually looking for my father, hoping you might be able to help me.
Oh, I'm so sorry to disappoint. You must have mistaken me for a knight in shining armor.
Was hoping you might know something.
Oh, of course. Princesses are always waiting for a prince to show up.
Wink, wink, hey, he's not a prince like in the original movie. You say his grandma's Snow White.
Step away from my captain. No harm comes to you.
You're just a common criminal.
My name's Jonathan, Princess. Not Jonathan, Princess. Just Jonathan. Look.
Seen
You know, we're all poking fun about this face, but like this dude makes the same exact face for like half the movie. It's an epidemic, I tell you what. Anyway, so long story short, the Queen sends guards to fight Snow White, but with the help of the bandits and her own ingenuity, she escapes. However, Captain Adams accidentally here takes a crossbow bolt before her. She takes him back to the dwarves to try and save his life.
They used blast furnace to cut through that rock, then drilled the treasure core, added a pulsasaur too, a dose of acidum saturninem, acids of sulfur dulcifide.
Yeah, okay. Had a lot of fun at Coachella, we get it. And so the bandits saved, and now the humans and dwarves are best friends.
It helps me sleep.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not really in the mood for dwarf milk right now. Now, remember back when Victor Ziegler said that the movie is totally definitely not about Snow White falling in love?
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it.
That is not gonna be
Saved by the prince.
She's not gonna be saved by the prince, and she's not gonna be dreaming about true love.
Well, guess what happens anyway? Oh, the power of having two conversations in a chin like Farquaad. Like seriously, you guys have barely spoken to each other this whole movie. Sarcastic comment, witty response. But then, like right after this, somehow, for some reason, the bandit, not Prince guy, gets captured by the Queen's guard, and they take him to the castle.
You look familiar. Oh, yeah. The lady with the good potatoes.
Where is Snow White?
The same place as your acting skills. So, no other choice left. The Queen uses her dark, hot romance to turn into an ugly old lady, make a poison apple and give to Snow White, who she just like knows where she is.
I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
No, I just was expecting someone else.
I mean, like, the guards were looking for days and found nothing, but then the Queen's just like goes to the cottage. This movie could have been over in 5 minutes the whole time.
I know I don't have much to give you. Thank you. For your father.
And then Snow White expires horizontally, or whatever. And that's the end of the movie. Thanks for watching, everybody. Anyway, so the bandit guy just can't stay away from this haircut for 1 second longer. So he breaks out of prison and rushes back to find out that it's too late to save Snow White. And then guess what happens? Wait, you thought I was dead, so you made out with me? That's weird.
That is
Saved
not gonna be
by the prince.
She's not gonna be saved by the prince.
She's not gonna be saved by a handsome prince. She's gonna be saved by some mid-looking dude who lives in a farm. See, totally different movie. And so, the end of the movie is Snow White returning from town, and everyone's like, what? And she's like, what? And then the Queen comes out and makes a diamond dagger for some reason.
If you want the rose. Take it.
I don't need a sword. I have the power of friendship. And then the Queen's like, and the guard's like, and then Snow White's like, and then she appeals to everyone's inner humanity or something.
Paul, you were a farmer. Matthew, you were a baker.
I remember you.
All of you.
I said
enough.
There was a time when we lived with hope.
Good things were nurtured and allowed to grow.
Yeah, guys, remember when we had Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon back-to-back every Saturday morning on Fox Kids? I didn't know how to have it. And since the Queen's magic is broken, everyone in town seizes the means of production, and the Queen is kind of perturbed about all this and runs away.
She will always be more fair than thee.
You know, I gotta say though, this part here with the Queen is so cool. the visual artistic direction of everything to do with the Queen is really awesome. Like her outfits, the chambers, the mirror, the whole ending scene here. Like this was all wasted on such a mediocre movie. Whoever did all this was working way above their pay. But all the same, that's the end of the movie. So like obviously this score is just people on the internet being dumb. And honestly, I think the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is a bit low. Like not that it's a great movie, but I didn't think it was this. As many people before me have said, yeah, those outfits are incredible. And there's some really cool visuals in some parts. But then we have stuff like this, which like I haven't been able to sleep for about a week and a half. But like as for the movie itself, you know, it's extremely paint by numbers. No character has any arc or development of any kind. They just are. Except Sophie, who's like too shy to talk the whole movie, but then finally finds the courage to speak his truth.
So, to LA, my father gets a job at a pawn restaurant. My uncle Junior works there. Uncle Jehovah's Witnesses. And I work for Catholic Jehovah.
But all the same, this movie did so bad in theaters that Disney's post-production on its upcoming Tangled and Hercules remake. Who knows what the future of all this is? And like, obviously for the sake of my YouTube channel, I hope they keep pumping out this garbage. But for the sake of my soul, though, like, I don't know how much more I can take. So yeah, like my honest actual thoughts here is like, I don't think this movie is nearly as bad as everyone's pretending it is. Like everyone's like really obsessed with just like how absolutely terrible this Snow White is, but like I don't know, it's like a solid 5 out of 10, honestly. Like, is it good? No, it's really not that good. There's a lot that's kind of off about this movie. Like, I talked about the dwarves and all that. A lot of the practical stuff, like the costumes and all that, like, looks so... It just looks really cheap. Like, it looks like they're in a community theater production where, like, all the clothes are super clean, there's no wrinkles, there's no stains. Like that dude who lives in the forest and his clothes are just, like, pristine, just the cleanest cut man you've ever seen. But even all that aside, like, I don't know why Disney was banking so hard on this movie to, like, go in theaters. I mean, like it has a really high budget. And, like, I can't imagine a reality in which, you know, millions and millions of people flock to the theaters to see Snow White like they did with, you know, Moana or whatever. Like, it just doesn't have that kind of power. Even like Lilo and Stitch live action, I feel like that would have made a little more sense to market a lot harder, because it's still kind of part of that, like, Renaissance time a little bit. People are probably way more interested in seeing that movie than they would be like Snow White, you know what I mean? Like, really, it should have just been directed to Disney Plus, I think. Well, looks like it's time once again for another exciting episode of... So, like, I was gonna do this whole intro about how there's never been a more mediocre CG movie franchise that ruined the entire world like Despicable Me. But then I remembered that we all survived Shrek. For those of you who are ancient like me, do you remember how huge Shrek was? The franchise, not that. We had Shrek Ketchup, okay? The unfunniest guys in school who always had like 3 dance team girls fighting over them for some reason. Their entire personality was quoting Shrek and Napoleon Dynamite. And Despicable Me was basically that, but more successful, and now there's another one coming out. There's been 6 of these movies if you count the Minion spin-offs, okay? I mean, at least Shrek knew when to call it. I mean, there's only been 6. And Despicable Me, 2010 Illumination movie, set the mean world on fire. I tell you what, your mom's Facebook feed has never been the same again. Music by Hans Zimmer. What the heck was this movie? This is probably worked on Despicable Me and Inception at the same time. Anyway, so continuing my question.